ورسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول كل بدعة ضلالة.
So in our times, barakallahu feekum, of course this has an impact. Because in the society that we live in, of course, fornication, right? I don't want to confuse the affair and introduce adultery here, because adultery has special rulings, and we have mentioned them in some of the duruus that came before a few months ago on the issue of li'an. But fornication is rampant in this society. It is not something that is uncommon or rare. It has become the norm to commit acts of fornication. And children that are born out of wedlock, then that is also common in the societies of Europe and North America. So in these societies, where children are born outside of wedlock, and they are children of fornication, then the ascription of those children is to the mother and not to the father. The father, if he was to die, then his inheritance is not left to that child that was born through fornication. He may leave a legacy, he may leave a bequest of a part of his wealth to that child, as you can do. You can leave it to a mosque, or leave it to a school, or leave it to some poor village. That is allowed. It's called a bequest. Right? As for the actual inheritance of the Sharia that is mentioned in the Quran, predominantly in Surah An-Nisa, and also in the Sunnah, then that child does not inherit from the man who fornicated with his mother. And if the child was to die, then the child's wealth is not inherited by the man who fornicated with his mother. And likewise, if the mother was to die, her wealth is not inherited by the man who fornicated with her, but it is inherited by her child that was born through fornication. As for the ascription of lineage, then the ascription of lineage is not given to the father or the family of the so-called father at all. Naam. So that ends the discussion on that point. Barakallahu feekum. And as I say, it does have, of course, an impact upon, for example, women who come into Islam and men who come into Islam and they have children from fornication. Then I would say in each situation, it is better if there is doubt or if there is something that confuses. Of course, anyway, let me finish this sentence up before I move on. That if there is a doubt or a problem or something that is outside of that which we have mentioned as a norm, then that should be put to one of the scholars for the issuance of a fatwa that is specific for you. As for a woman who was married before she became a Muslim, meaning that she was married in any faith, in any of the rest of the religions, if she was married, she was a Christian woman and she was married to a Christian man, or she was a Hindu and she was married to a Hindu man, or a Sikh or a Jew or whatever, then both of them become Muslim. There is no need for a new nikah because their marriage is validated. Their marriage is validated because of the fact that they were married in the religion that they were following before. And secondly, if a woman enters into Islam and she has children from a previous marriage, but the husband from her husband didn't become a Muslim, but she became a Muslim, but they have children. Those children maintain the lineage of their father, even if he did not become a Muslim. Why? Because their marriage was a legal marriage in the religion that they were following before, and therefore Islam recognizes those marriage ties, even if the husband does not become a Muslim, or even if the opposite is true, the wife does not become a Muslim. The lineage of those children remain with the father, even if the father is a non-Muslim. The lineage does not change. It is not said, now that I've become a Muslim, and he refused to become a Muslim, I will now remove the lineage of my children from their rightful father, even though the marriage was a validated marriage through another religion, because of the fact that they were following some other religion other than Islam. Wallahu a'lam. And this is from the rulings that we attain from the scholars.